Another week and another chance to play some altcoins. That's what we're here for. And getting better trading. That's what we're here for as well. So, again, I want to say, as every video I do, join the free Telegram. The link's in the bio. I share alpha there as much as I can. Although, of course, in regards of making these YouTube videos where I share the most alpha, on top of that, Twitter where I share loads of alpha, to keep that in line or to keep that in check as well and post as much as I can there can be difficult, but again, it's rewarding to me to make these videos. It's rewarding to post the Twitter posts, and it's rewarding to share anything I can on Telegram. So I appreciate you guys if you guys do join there, and you can interact with me freely. I'm always active in there. You can just pop a message, pop a question, interact with the rest of the community, and just get the ball rolling in terms of your trading game, learn from others, etc. So that's one. The second is the Twitter, but I mentioned that. Just join that. And the last one, WooX, perfect exchange, yada yada. I say it every video, but I would love for you guys to join it. My link is down below. If you join via that, you can support me, you can support Woo, you can support yourself. So it's all a pleasure. So let me dive into the charts here. So essentially what I want to start off with while you look at this chart, and this is not about this chart actually, but in general, is every altcoin you want to play probably looks dog shit. And I'm just, TLDR, your altcoin looks dog shit. So, play what I play if you want to play some relative strength. And there's no guarantees here. It's not financial advice whatsoever, but most of your altcoins look fucking terrible. And I picked the ones in this video that I'm going to cover that I think currently still look good. Last week I covered a bunch of altcoins, gave a bunch of setups. Some setups really worked out well, including Zero here, but some of them really didn't interact with the levels I wanted them to and just fucking plummeted. So again, most of your altcoins look terrible. Full disclosure. First one, Zero. Layer 0, whatever, who cares what the tech does? We're here to trade it. I'm sorry, maybe you're here for the tech for real, but alright. So what it's doing here, very simple. We can cover the weekly chart, and it's one of the only good looking charts. There's a few more that look similar to this, and it's going to be like JTO, Jupiter, etc. But they look like this on a way higher time frame, right? They've been around a year, while this has been around since like June, I believe. Yeah. So this doesn't look too bad, higher time frame, and we go down to the daily. We have this kind of range build up, and however you want to draw it is fine by me. But again, top of the range, EQ, bottom of the range. And we've interacted with these levels very well. The only concerning thing here is these equal lows, but, we skip those for now and just say, okay, we're just going to keep ripping because it's a new coin. If we do come down here, this is definitely going to get taken for a reclaim, or no reclaim, depending on the strength it's going to show. But it's one of the only new good looking charts, and this was kind of the thing last year, that new and shiny shit did fucking amazing. So it's important to just say, okay, is that narrative still going? I don't think it is, but in case it is, then this is one of the best looking charts, and only new coins with a lot of liquidity that you can keep playing. So unless you're playing, some type of meme coins, etc., that get listed on perps, and then you're off to the fucking races trading meme coins, and that's fine too. But this is one of those charts that does still look relatively good. So what am I looking for? Essentially, this level here is the EQ, but on top of that, I kind of drew out this breaker at some point where I want to see it serve as support, right? So this was an order block that kept serving as an order block before we broke it, and then it served as support. So we've come back down to this level again, and you could say, okay, we could redraw this and say it's no longer a breaker, but now it's just this order block. It's really whatever you want. I just like having precedent with any level, and this level has a precedent, so I like to play it from there and just keep that drawing up and know what the relevance of that level is down to the back in time, let's put it that way. Again, that is a very disputed thing to do, and however you want to trade, because you could say, hey, that's already served as an order block, or that liquidity is already taken, so you can delete it, blah blah blah. Perfectly fine. When it's liquidity, I do. When it's order blocks or levels, I don't. Go fuck yourself. So we're interacting with this level now. We've had a nice bounce off of it, but this is where I want to see strength continue, kind of like what happened here. This candle reminds you of what? Kind of this candle. And if we can continue to play here, tighten up, this kind of a resistance here and break out from there, we instantly kind of pop up to the top of this range of $5, which is almost a, you know, it's like a 50% play or something like that, whatever it is, you know, 30% play. So 0 looks good, playing with that middle of the range level, and I could see this just, you know, coming back up to 5, possibly, you know, coming up to 7.2 or something like that is where I would have a level, you know, somewhere up here for a new all-time high. If that does come in and the market does pump, this is a very strong looking coin. Again, go watch the previous video where I cover BTC and ETH, because that's gonna be super fundamental to like where the market is going. And most of these plays long wise only play out when BTC of course does well too. So, you know, have BTC as a leading indicator, check out the other video, understand where I'm thinking BTC is heading and in what context I'm actually giving you these plays. I'm not giving you these plays in blind context of long here because it looks good. I'm giving it in context of BTC's actions, and if BTC doesn't do well, I don't expect these charts to play out as I'm currently saying. I hope that's a good full disclosure for you guys. Yeah, so Kaspa. Another very interesting chart where you look at the higher time frame and it just looks up, right? It's not that new. It's not a new chart, and the chart doesn't have all the, you know, price history. Price history more or less looks something like this, if not better than that, right? So it's a very strong chart, and it looks pretty good. Higher time frame, nothing to write home about, but it looks pretty good. Overall, you know, I think the most to say is here on like the 4 hour, where this pivotal level, you know, some of these levels have been pivotal for a while, and you can, you know, draw this out to here, and these levels have continued to play out nicely. So now that we've, you know, taken out a bunch of this liquidity, come back and just interacting with these same levels once more, I am interested in playing this to the best of my ability. With a trend that is up, as this one is, it could just chop up, you know, over here. It could come back down to the range. It could take some of this, and before you know it, it's just up at 2.3, 2.6, and kind of doing its thing. I think the target I would be reaching for is about here at 2.3, but hey, to each their own, not financial advice. Kaspa, good looking chart. Sol, you know, higher time frame, a very fantastic looking chart. It's one of the only charts that still looks like this in the market, so this is a very good chart, higher time frame, and I would recommend playing something like this. Again, you know, Sol has this beautiful range that's, you know, been established since like January, February, something like that, and essentially, you know, playing around with these levels consistently. So if we do come down to this level and we take some of this, I wouldn't be mind accumulating at 115. Did I say that? Well, I wouldn't mind accumulating at 115, and I wouldn't be concerned there. But it's once we break down past this level, the line in the sand will be somewhere here, where, you know, if it does this, I would want to see a quick reclaim for continuation. But if this rejects again, it's just over. But then you're already at $60, and things should be over long before that. So, you know, the first level is of course gonna be this 115. If we break down this, I'm not gonna, you know, be super happy about it, just for full disclosure. So we'll delete all these little doodles. Perfect. Pendle. Now this chart is an interesting one that looks a lot less good, but there's a but to this. It's playing around with this, you know, line in the sand level, where I'd love to see it rally back up, and it could get a decent pump of, you know, whatever this is, 100% before like 90% on the higher time frame. Lower time frame, and I think, you know, daily kind of tells the same exact story, where we could come up to here, you know, and then reject from here and set up this like higher time frame kind of range thing, something like that, or whatever you want to draw it, you know, set up something like that, and that'd be perfect. But the most is to be told here. Well, not really. There's not much to say for the rest. You know, we're playing with this level, and it doesn't look too good overall, but it's still a decent looking chart that has relative strength, and a lot of people are actually using this for restaking and using this and buying up the token. So it's been, you know, the restaking narrative has been dying a little bit in the last 2 months, but, you know, so has every other narrative. So it's before, if narratives come back and if the market comes back, restaking is going to be back on top, or one of the better narratives to play, and Pendle is going to be on top of that. Tau. Now this is a more interesting one, because it's kind of controversial. This chart is what I mean by your chart looks dog shit. You know, it just does. It's just that simple. This looks fucking terrible. But there's a reason that it's here. And the reason is kind of as follows. You know, we have this downtrend, you know, this attempt at setting up a range or some type of accumulation that just broke down. And now we have this second attempt at accumulation. And sometimes these charts, you know, they just go down in the beginning. And then before you know it, they kind of get this bid up. And they start looking a bit like a rounding pattern. And that's when they rip up here and, you know, go to 920. You know, this is especially the case if AI picks back up, etc. If narratives pick back up and the market picks back up overall, and these kind of coincide with Pendle and the idea there. But if this range, and I think it was more interesting in all, you know, full transparency, when it was, you know, above this EQ level at about $300, that's where it was a lot more interesting to see this, you know, when it was up here, to see this breakout, take this liquidity and continue up. Again, I wouldn't mind some type of, you know, head and shoulders or something like this come in where it continues to accumulate with it. Did I just delete something or am I tripping? Definitely did. You know, and some type of accumulation set up here before we actually break out and continue to the upside. So yeah, finally TRX strong, but nothing to write home about right now. I haven't been loving it. I think this is ready for one of these, you know, something like that. So despite that, it's an interesting looking chart. It's a good looking chart that you can play, but not too strengthy looking as of right now. That covers most of the alts. You know, we can go over some of these other ones and you can see what TRB is doing. You know, this big pump today that just got, you know, fully engulfed here, you know, like a 10% pump into a 15% dump. So, you know, you can see what I mean by your chart looks shit. You know, TRB doesn't look too bad. That's why I always have it in my scammers, but it still looks fucking terrible. Jupiter, you can see what I meant, that it looks similar to zero, but it just looks less good because it's had more price action to kind of chop up and sit around, right? JTO, similar, but more at the bottom of the range. And again, this looks kind of terrible. Woo, unfortunately, despite the fact that I love Woo, this does look kind of terrible, but a good accumulation spot here at the bottom of this range. Rune, you know, despite having done this massive move, looks kind of terrible. Blur, absolutely fucking horrendous. Maker, you know, there's a chance that this does well, but maybe this level here is the level of interest around once, you know, 1700 or something like this, right? So just draw that out. Somewhere here would be a level of interest to play. Ondo, I remember speaking about this, that it was interacting with this level right here and trying to find some support and trying to find its direction, and it clearly found its direction to the downside as it played around here and got rejected. I could see this rounding out again, doing similar to BTC, recovering here, coming up, but this is the level I want to see recover to 0.8 to get a new high in. So that's really briefly a bunch of altcoins, but mostly they look fucking terrible and your alts are in the gutter. But I want to say thank you anyways, and I want to say let's get it, let's trade, and focus on majors. You know, BTC looks one of the best. Zero looks pretty good. Not a major, but Zero looks pretty good, and focus on just trading safely and trading well. To be fair, BTC is one of the best looking charts, right? It's BTC, it's Sol, it's, you know, and a few of the other ones I covered, like Caspa Zero and maybe TRX, but most charts actually look fucking terrible, including some of the ones I covered in my movers list, like Pendle. This shouldn't be here, right? Tau shouldn't be here. Maybe Pendle should. Pendle was decent. Probably shouldn't be here either, right? My list should look like this, to be fair, and this list should be fucking completely annihilated. So a bunch of shit looks fucking terrible. That's the fucking point. But good luck trading. Have a good week ahead, and I'll see you guys soon.